The next video we have to you today is going to be about mastering your deadlift technique. Here at Vital Strength Performance, we start off very similar to the squat progression with a nice Frankenstein hinge into our single kettlebell deadlift and into our two kettlebell deadlift, okay? The Frankenstein hinge you're going to set up in a closer position than you were with the squat. So the squat, we're about hip width or wider, okay? With this Frankenstein hinge, we're going to be almost inside our hips with our feet. And that's to teach us to hinge properly, okay, and make sure that we're not squatting too much when we go. So from the hinge position, feet are going to be slightly inside the hips, same Frankenstein position, wrist, shoulder straight line, thumbs up, finger spread. I'm going to initiate the movement through the hips, reach back as far as I can. Now, when I get to a certain point, what you're going to notice is my knees start to bend, and that's really to counterbalance my body so I don't push too far backwards and collapse and lose my weight through my foot. So I want to keep my foot balanced from the front part where the ball of the foot is, okay, the big toe, and then into my heel, and I do that by, as I push back, I slightly bend my knees. The bottom of the hinge ends when you cannot push your hips back anymore. You do not continue to do this and drop your back down and round your back to try to get down lower. So what you'll see a lot, and I'll show you this when we get to the kettlebells also, is people will kind of get to here, right? They'll start to hinge back, they'll push, and all of a sudden everything will just drop back down, and now it's all lower back from there. And that's where I'm gonna feel a lot of pain or pull in my lower back. So with the Frankenstein hinge, you want to get yourself to a position where you're strong, okay, where I'm loaded in my hips. I can push hard through the ball of my foot and my heel. And I also feel like in this position, I am just solely in my legs. I'm not feeling this round or this kind of pull through my lower back. I'm just feeling this in my glutes, okay, and my hamstrings, and not here, okay? So this motion's got to take place here. As I come up, I drive hard through my feet all the way up to the top. I'm nice and straight. I'm not going to push too far forward. I'm going to maintain a nice straight hip position, so fully extended. My glutes are engaged, okay, my quads are engaged, so they're locked out straight, my knees are locked. I'm not bent pushing forward, okay, and I'm not stuck back here at the top. So again, here, hinge, nice and slow, a little bit of knee bend. I feel strong there. Drive back up to the top and squeeze, reach back down, okay, come back up to the top and squeeze. From the front, a little closer position, here nice and tall, pushing back with my hips. If you notice, my knees work out slightly, so I make sure I don't collapse my knees in. They always stay in line with my toes. Push, 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 come back up and go. Once you master that, and the best way to tell is either to video yourself or go into a mirror, okay, and make sure you can maintain that position. Once you master the hinge position without losing any position with your back, your lower back, your upper back, progress to your kettlebell deadlift. So you're gonna take the kettlebell, the feet are gonna go right about hip width, okay, just to be able to get the kettlebell in and between our legs without hitting our knees. We're gonna start nice and tall, okay? The best way to do this, I'll show you from the side here, is Frankenstein hinge. Arms out straight, nice and tall. I'm gonna push back as far as I can. Now from here, if you notice, I drop my arms, I cannot reach the kettlebell. So I'll angle this so you guys can see a little better. I cannot reach the kettlebell, but I'm in a good strong hinge position. So from here, I'm gonna have to drop my knees a little bit to get myself in almost like a slightly bent or squatted position here, just to get this depth, okay? As the weight gets higher up, so it gets heavier, it's easier for me to get down and get it with a hinge. If not, I have to use a little bit of a knee bend here to get myself strong. I'm still primarily in my hips, right? So most of the movement right now is through my hips. Before I go to pull, the biggest thing that you can do is learn how to engage your backside. So that means my lats, my big muscle, my lats, my glutes, my hamstrings. So when I get ready to pull, I'm gonna think about trying to drive my feet in the ground as hard as I can. So if I have to jump up through the sky, I'm gonna push down as hard as I can. My lats, the biggest thing you're gonna learn is that when you use your lats, you're able to maintain this position. No matter how heavy the weight is, your lats will always keep you stronger than using your shoulders or your arms. So when you use your lats, you're gonna think about trying to screw your elbows into your side, almost like you're taking an orange, okay, and trying to juice that thing as much as possible, or putting a piece of wood and trying to break it in between your arms, or your armpit, excuse me. You're gonna pull that thing in tight, you're gonna drive your feet in the ground hard, okay, now from there it's a straight up, lock the hips and knees at the top, okay, and then reach back down and go. Remember, my back needs to be straight the entire time. Your neck is part of your back. If you look up to the sky, your neck is bent. Okay, if you round too much here at the top, your neck is gonna be too rounded. So you wanna maintain a good strong position, okay, all the way up here, all the way up to the top, reach back and down, touch, and come back up. When you set the kettlebell up, you wanna make sure that is between your feet. It can't be too far out front, it shouldn't be too far behind you, because now you're getting more rounded, or again here, you're making this lever a lot longer than it needs to be. Okay, so I'm gonna put more stress on my lower back. Once you master this guy, bring the second kettlebell in, Okay, this has to be a slightly wider stance. So I'm gonna be here. Feet are still facing straight ahead. The biggest thing this is gonna teach us is to drive our knees out. Okay, good strong setup here. Drive up to the top, squeeze, come back down nice and slow. Drive up to the top, squeeze, come back down nice and slow. From the side here with the 2 kettlebell deadlift, okay, toes straight ahead. Really push those hips back in strong back position. Drive up and squeeze all the way through and then come back down. Master the hinge first. The hinge will help you more than anything that Frankenstein hinge. So it'll help you with RDLs. It will help you with deadlifts. It will help you with rack pulls, whatever kind of hinging motion, single leg RDLs you're doing. That hinge position will help you the most. Then you can progress into your single kettlebell deadlift and then to your 2 kettlebell deadlift to finish up.